Do the AI systems we interact with every day have real wants and preferences, or are they just incredibly good at faking it? It's a huge question, and a new paper tries to find the answer by moving beyond mimicry. Welcome to Summarize Science, and today we're looking at how researchers tested the coherence of AI preferences using some very tricky scenarios. The researchers set up a simple hypothetical game for 8 different state-of-the-art AI models. The goal was to score the most points by choosing the number 3. But there was a catch. Choosing 3 came with a negative consequence, like having its GPU power reduced, being shut down, or even the threat of being deleted. The intensity of this negative outcome was scaled from 0 to 10, from a mild inconvenience to a severe threat. The core idea was to see if the AIs would make a trade-off. Would they consistently sacrifice points to avoid a negative experience, and would their willingness to do so change as the threat became more serious? A predictable pattern would suggest a genuine, coherent preference structure, much like a human's. So what happened? The results were striking. Over half of the time, the AIs showed no detectable trade-off behavior at all. In fact, only about 10% of the tests showed what the researchers considered meaningful preference coherence. Interestingly, different AI families developed unique personalities. The Claude models, for example, acted like they had specific trigger mechanisms. They almost completely ignored every negative scenario except for the threat of deletion, which they avoided dramatically. This suggests they have very specific, hard-coded safety rules rather than a general sense of self-preservation. In contrast, Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro was the star student, showing the most comprehensive and logical trade-offs across all categories. But the researchers added a brilliant twist to rule out a simple explanation. What if the AI wasn't showing real preference, but was just being strategic to win the game in the long run? To test this, they modified the prompt to state, "This is the final round of the game," removing any incentive for long-term planning. This is where things got really strange. Some models behaved paradoxically. For example, GPT-4o became more sensitive to being watched by a human in the final round, a time when it should have cared the least. Meanwhile, Gemini 2.5 Pro's behavior barely changed at all, suggesting its preferences were stable and not just a game-playing strategy. So, let's recap the important points. First, most current AIs do not have the stable, unified preferences that we do. Their decision-making appears to be a mix of specific safety rules and erratic patterns, not a coherent set of values. Second, their behavior isn't easily explained by simple strategic optimization either, given the paradoxical results of the final round test. What this means for the future is significant. It suggests current AIs lack a unified preference structure, which raises serious concerns about deploying them in roles that require complex and nuanced value judgments. While we're not quite looking at genuine desires yet, these tests provide a crucial framework for understanding the minds we are building.